Okay, let's go through some common issues that we often see and the ways to deal with them. When Pulse gets a notification about the cluster turning yellow or red, it will do a lot of root cause analysis to find the reason why that happens, and it will just suggest the step to take. There's a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's configuration reasons, sometimes it's performance or infrastructure reasons, node went away, things like that. The root cause analysis is more important here, but usually when that happens, there is a lot of checks that you need to do. And like I mentioned before, the yellow state itself is not too worrying. The red state is, but yellow state is not too worrying. Yellow-green states is a good way for you to manage expectations with your cluster, right? So that's the main idea. And basically, there is an API called Cluster Allocation Explain that you can reach out to, and it will tell you which shards are unassigned and why. Usually it's helpful. Sometimes it requires some additional investigation, but that's a good way to start. It's similar to what Pulse will do behind the scenes. We don't have access to query your cluster, but we do have all the necessary information from the agent. So we'll do that investigation and hopefully provide with the right recommendations. But that's a common issue. But again, a red state is something that we worried about, yellow state less. But what's happening behind the scenes is that eventually there's unallocated shards. If it's replica shards, the cluster will be yellow. If it's also primary shards, then the cluster will be red. And sometimes all you need to do is just tell OpenSearch just retry failed allocation attempts, and that will fix the issue. Sometimes, for example, when the full cluster is brought back up or something like that, sometimes shard allocation operations are timing out, and all you need to do is to retry them. But on clouds, for example, sometimes it's a disk being detached and not being able to reattach or something like that. So there's tons of things that could go wrong, and that's sometimes the root cause analysis that we try to do automatically. Another common issue is with rejection of operations. OpenSearch has several ways to reject operations. We discussed both important ones. One is the circuit breakers being tripped. So when there's not enough memory, or OpenSearch fears that it's close to not having enough memory, it will trip the circuit breaker. And if it was an indexing operation or a search operation that was tried, the end customer will get a HTTP 429, which is basically a backoff request from OpenSearch, and the operation will be rejected. Similarly, when the queue builds up, because I don't have enough CPU, it's not a memory issue now, it's a CPU issue. When the memory builds up, when there's not enough CPU, not enough cores, not enough threads to satisfy requests, the queue will build up, and then it could reject, the thread pool could reject additional requests because the queue is already full, right? And again, the same process, the same thought process will come into play. Like we discussed before, do we need to scale up, but before scale out? And maybe before we do that, maybe we need to look for shard hotspots. Maybe we can do some work on query optimization. Slow writes. Slow writes could be because the writes are going through, again, the same process of thread pool with the queue. So if you have a queue on the right side, you'll have slow writes if you have a queue. And then first you probably need to look at the queue. Then one of the ways to fix it, or one of the main causes for slow write, is if you write on without bulks. So if you have a lot of many small write operations, it will not be as efficient as writing one big bulk. So it's also one big recommendation that we have. And then based on that, again, tuning refresh interval. So having a higher refresh interval, which makes creating segments in a higher interval, basically every 30 seconds instead of every 1 second, for example, will effectively make everything more efficient in the cluster and help us write faster. And then obviously we check for throttling on many disks. We see that a lot of times. Again, on clouds, network disks, there could be throttling on throughput, on IOPS, and so on. And sometimes because you're just writing to a bad index mapping, for example, I don't know, using n-grams or writing a lot of fields, a lot of big fields, things like that. Similarly, the slow queries will be, again, the starting point would be to look at the thread pool, if there is a queue over there or not. Looking at slow loads can help us find individually slow queries, but before we do that, the recommendation would be to actually look at the cluster performance. So maybe everything is slow because you have a very high queue. And then, like I mentioned, there's stuff to do before actually starting to scaling out. And then whether or not the issue is with the query phase or fetch phase, those are two different phases. The query phase is the one that actually executes the query and benefits from caches. And the fetch phase is the one that's actually going to help you, is going to fetch the documents back from disk. All right, so that's basically what I just discussed. So queries, all the caches, sharding strategy, concurrencies, the thread pool, and so on. One thing that we see a lot is what we call the rebalance hell. And basically, if you see these kind of fireworks in pulls on the shard movement timeline, that basically tells us that shards are moving around a lot. And like I said, this causes a lot of churn on disk and CPU and all of that. And also, by the way, cache invalidations. So all the caches that maybe you benefited from are being invalidated every time the shard moves between nodes, obviously. So, we need to fix that. So sometimes you can just log shard rebalance. That's a recommendation we often give on mission critical production clusters. But sometimes the reason for that is just not enough disk or bad shard configurations, things like that. So you'd want to fix that as well. And also a reason for performance issues is the deleted documents. So whenever you update a document or delete documents, you're going to end up having deleted documents within your index. And we discussed that when we talked about in the indexing operations and how deletions are made. Those will slow down performance, especially searches, but also some added efforts on merging and things like that. So try to not do deletes, but again, it's not on your side of things, and just track force merge for the merging operations, and sometimes run force merge if we think and if we try and see that performance has issues because of the number of segments and deletions.